skills in engaging with her local community, especially with vulnerable people. Her hobbies were dancing, cooking, watching cricket, and boxing. In 2017-18, the leader of the Council of Stephen Alambritus, decided that due to her excellent skills with her local community, she became the mayor of Martin. Her two charities were Martin Mencap and Commonside Community Development Trust. During her mayoral year, she worked very hard and held several fundraising events. I remember her mayoral ball at Track 89 Banquet Hall in Bond Road, Mitchell. She was determined the event would be well attended, and she raised a lot of money for her two charities. After her mayoral year, a life member of the London Mayors Association, she decided to continue with her voluntary work and became involved in the association's borough forum. And she worked very closely with me as a borough representative for 3 London boroughs, Martin, Lambeth, and Sutton. Unfortunately, due to her illness, she was unable to carry on serving as a borough representative. She will always be remembered as a very hard-working councillor, serving her community to the best of her ability. The London Mayors Association sends their condolences to her family and also recognizing all her hard work to the association. She is survived by her only daughter, Alexa Skeet, and 2 grandchildren, Kajal and Kadri. Also, several relatives in the United Kingdom and in Guyana. May her soul rest in peace, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Fairclough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Lieutenant. We wanted to offer our condolences from this side of the chamber on the sad news of Councillor Marcy Skeet's passing. And we have heard about her years of civic service and her fantastic charity work. And we wish to say thank you to Marcy for that work. And as I said at the beginning, condolences to her family, friends and colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Holden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Deputy Lieutenant. I echo and support the comments given by the Leader of the Council on the untimely passing of Councillor Marcy Skeet. On behalf of the Conservative Group, I offer my condolences and deepest sympathies to the family and friends of Councillor Skeet. The Conservative Group looks back fondly on Councillor Skeet from her time as Mayor of Merton in 2017 to 18. We particularly enjoyed the novel venue of the Mayoral Ball at Check 89 and her Winter Warmer concert held at St Mark's Academy, Mitcham. Marcy will be deeply missed by all those in this chamber.
Councillor Foley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Lieutenant. It's with great sadness that I speak this evening in memory of Councillor Marcy Skeet. Marcy and I shared a special beginning in our public service, having both been elected as councillors in 2014. I will always remember that early time, full of energy, purpose, and a shared commitment to our borough. One fond memory that stays with me is attending a reception at City Hall together, hosted by the then Mayor of London, Boris Johnson. It was an occasion that felt significant then, and even more so now, as I reflect on the journey we both undertook. Marcy went on to serve as Mayor of Merton, and she carried out that role with distinction, warmth, and tireless dedication. Throughout her mayoral year, she brought people together, hosted countless events, and worked hard to raise funds for her charities. I had the privilege of attending many of those occasions, and they were always marked by her unmistakable spirit, and I should add, her signature love of high heels, always worn with style and confidence. I should also mention her nails. She volunteered for the Mayor's charity cricket match and turned up with nail extensions, the length of which I've never seen anyone play cricket before. Luckily, the ball never went her way for catch. Marcy was truly the life and soul of any gathering. She had a way of lifting the room, of drawing people in, and ensuring that everyone felt included. I remember in particular a Windrush event when I was serving as Deputy Mayor. Marcy was absolutely insistent that I not remain seated, but join in the dancing. It was a joyful moment, one where I did my best to keep up with her, all the while trying to keep the chains balanced on my shoulders. That was Marcy, encouraging, full of life, and determined that we should all share in the joy of the occasion. Hearing of her passing has been deeply saddening. Marcy was not only a hard-working councillor and dedicated former mayor, but also a colleague and a friend who leaves behind many fond memories. She leaves her name, quite rightly, in gold leaf as a former mayor of Merton, and in our hearts as someone who gave so much to our community. My thoughts are with her family and loved ones at this very difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you. As the current Mayor of Merton for a short time, I would like to take this opportunity of paying tribute to Councillor Marcy Skeet. I've worked very closely with Councillor Marcy Skeet for 12 years as a neighbouring ward councillor, and it's true to say Marcy had style and panache, but she was very dedicated and committed to her ward of Long Thornton. She was also an absolutely outstanding mayor, and I share the sentiments, many of which were expressed this evening, and my deepest condolences go to her daughter, Erecta, her grandchildren, Kajel and Kadre, and to all her friends and family. We will miss her dearly. I would now like to ask you all to stand to observe a moment of silence in memory of Marcy. Thank you. I now understand the Deputy Lord Lieutenant wishes to speak briefly. Dr. Robin McNeill Love.
Worshipful Mayor, Councillor Martin Welton, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Shuli Saida, Leader of the Council, Councillor Ross Garrett, Chief Executive Hannah Dooley, councillors, staff and guests who are here today at this full council meeting of the London Borough of Merton. Thank you for giving me the honour of speaking to you. Since being appointed as your representative Deputy Lieutenant on the 28th of January 2025, I have gradually become more and more immersed into the life of this very special London Borough. In my role of representing the Lord Lieutenant, Sir Kenneth Alyssa, and therefore His Majesty the King. And I have been consistently touched by the warmth of welcome from you all, which I have received, and I have never taken for granted. It is a consistent pleasure to meet with you and in an increasing number of situations to work with you on particular projects. And of course, that interaction will become greater as the years progress. I will not mention those councillors with whom I have developed close links concerning particular projects, but you know who you are. And it has been a real privilege for me to become colleagues and indeed friends with you. Of course, my offer of involvement of the lieutenancy in all of your wards and chosen causes is open to you all. You only have to ask. Due to the need to keep this speech short, I won't detail all of the activities I've been involved in since last January, but this has involved approximately 44 events as a Deputy Lieutenant, and by far the most of those involving commitments of this borough. If I'm given the honour of speaking next year, I may take that opportunity to provide a little more detailed analysis of my activities, which may be of interest, and demonstrate that I am earning my rations. I use military language in front of Admiral Nelson, Lord Nelson. Now, each and every one of the councillors yes, thank you. Today, I want to pay tribute to Councillor Martin Welton, your current mayor, and Councillor Shuli Saidi, your deputy mayor, who have been such an inspiring team over the past year. Indeed, we salute Councillor Martin's significant achievement of having successfully been appointed as mayor for 2 occasions. As this is the first time that I have spoken at a council meeting, it is also appropriate that I pay tribute to your past mayor, Councillor Slavek Szczepanski, the first Polish-born mayor in the United Kingdom, and his partner Camilla, and the deputy mayor, Councillor Brenda Fraser, who all welcomed myself and my wife Poppy with such kindness when I commenced my role in Merton. And of course, I cannot mention all people by name, but I must pay tribute to 4 key people who need no introduction. Of course, Councillor Ross Garrett, your Chief Executive Officer, Hannah Doody, Hiral Patel, and last but by no means least, Carl Brown. Thank you all. In my view, Merton would not be the same without any of you. It has been a real privilege for me to come to know the London Borough of Merton, and of course this borough has rich links with one of our nation's heroes, Admiral Lord Nelson. And so it is perhaps providence that you now have a Royal Navy officer as your representative deputy lieutenant. I have very big shoes to fill, or perhaps I should say, and I thought this when I was doing my speech, perhaps I should say oars to paddle. Concerning the recent elections, which have taken place in a period of political intensity and turbulence, possibly to a unique degree, I congratulate all councillors, past and present, who have had the courage, and it is courage, to stand for election, and in so doing put yourselves up for intense public scrutiny. For those elected, congratulations. Your achievements speak for themselves, and you and your family should be rightly proud of you. For those sadly not elected, I offer my congratulations for having the courage to enter the race, and they may well be back here, of course, in the future. Of course, a vote not supporting their election is almost certainly not about them personally, but is related to issues often far away beyond their control, such as national or international situations. But I know that all of us here will join me in wishing them the best of success in their endeavours. And I would like to add, on behalf of the Lieutenancy, our deep respects and thanks for the life and service of Councillor Marcy Skeets. It is often one of my heartfelt counselling approaches in my medical consultations in my day job as a doctor, that when people come up against adversity or unexpected life challenges, that it is, if they can use that situation in a positive way, albeit taking them in a direction they had not foreseen, then it is fascinating how life can often develop for the better in terms of new opportunities that would not have presented themselves if the assumed course had remained on track. Why is that heartfelt? Because I have personally had to go through that very developing experience. In summary, for us all, carpe diem. So with that in mind, I really truly salute you all. Now, finally, my question today is, what is the importance of democracy? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you embody that lifeblood. And looking at a recent posting from Chatham House in London, I quote as follows: when talking about the importance of democracy, it is important to define it accurately. democracy is popular sovereignty, almost as popular as my boss. In Abraham Lincoln's words, government of the people, by the people, for the people. At the heart is the concept of the population choosing a government through regular, free and fair elections. Each and every one of the councillors represented here today have been given your mandate by your people, which is an immensely precious and trusted task. And I wish you all the best of success as you move forward to uphold the faith that the public have put upon your shoulders. As I develop more experience in my role as your Deputy Lieutenant, I will truly strive to play my fullest possible part in my support of Merton. But there's one particular area that I really would be grateful for your support. And I'm very grateful for two councillors who have come back to me even in the last couple of days. And it is this. One of the roles which we have is being asked to validate members of Merton who have been put up for state awards and honours. We received communication from the Lieutenancy Office, which I think comes from the Cabinet Office. And therefore, via the wonderful Hyrule, I will send you an email with background asking for your thoughts about a particular candidate. Any information, please, that can help me validate that, which then goes to Sir Kenneth, is really, really important. Because that will then help you, me, Sir Kenneth, support those nominated Merton citizens for such well-deserved national recognition. So councillors and permanent Merton Council staff, your input in recognising your people for state honours and awards is crucial, and I look forward to working with you to the benefit of your citizens. On behalf of the Lord Lieutenant, and therefore de facto His Majesty the King, I offer my warmest congratulations to the new Mayor of Merton, Councillor Shuli Saida, and her new Deputy Mayor, Councillor Joan Henry, and indeed to all of you here in this very auspicious chamber, watched over by Admiral Lord Nelson, as you represent your citizens of Merton. I much look forward to working with you all in support of your noble mission. To conclude, it's a privilege for me to be here today. Thank you, Mayor, for asking me to speak. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and to you all, I thank you for this privilege, and I wish you all the very best of success in the coming year and years. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Dr. Robin McNeill Love, for that speech and for all your support you have given to the mayoralty since you took office. It's very well appreciated. We'll now move on to the next item of business. I now call for nominations for the position of Mayor of Merton for municipal year 2026 to 2027. Councillor Kenny.
Mr. Mayor and Deputy Lieutenant, it is my great pleasure to nominate Shuli Saida as the Mayor of Merton for the year 2026 to 2027. Shuli is an amazing lady. She will be a wonderful mayor and be a great first citizen of the London Borough of Merton. I thought that I first met Shuli on the run-up to her election, but no, I had met her about 8 years earlier at the Morden Rotary Club President-making garden party, where a mutual friend of ours became the president of the club. It was a few years later that Shuli showed me the photo to say we had met before. As you will all find out during Shuli's mayoral year, once met and never forgotten. How did I do that? Shuli was elected in July 2024. I was out canvassing for her and our MP with numerous others. As always, we walked the roads and knocked on endless doors. I was with a gentleman in Shuli's ward. I knocked on a door, and whilst waiting for it to be answered, my colleague said the man was a friend of his. I thought, oh, good, another vote. I went through my brief spiel, and the gentleman of the house replied, "Of course I shall vote for Shuli. I'm her husband." I turned to my colleague and said, "You could have told me." He smiled. The moral of the story is, Always find out exactly where your colleagues live. What is Shuli like, you may ask? I have consistently found Shuli to be such a kind, caring and generous person. She will immediately offer to help anyone and won't accept a negative response. When she knew I had a minor operation at St Helier, it was, "I'll take you." Of course, in the waiting room, Shuli had everyone talking and laughing. No one had time to worry about their surgery. Shuli loves food, everyone. Her motto is, "Food is love." Our office is always stocked with food to ensure no one is ever hungry. Sometimes it's croissants, other times it's home-cooked food. If it was not for the ban of food in the council chamber, Shuli would be providing us all with our evening meal. I'll have mine later. These anecdotes are to let you know a little of the person that Shuli is. As mayor, her attendance at events will lift the room. She will bring smiles to people's faces, enthused for all they do, make people feel valued and be an amazing ambassador for Merton. I unreservedly propose Shuli as the Mayor of Merton for the coming year. It will be an amazing year. Oh, one word of advice. Just do not mess with her. She stands her ground. Shuli is a force to be respected.
Is that nomination seconded? Councillor Macaulay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Mr. Mayor, councillors, officers, distinguished guests. It gives me great pleasure to second the nomination for Councillor Shuli Saida as the first citizen of the London Borough of Merton for the year 2026-27. My sincere congratulations to Councillor Siedi for becoming the first Muslim woman mayor in Merton. This is a great honor amongst our residents, as the London Borough of Merton is a vibrant and highly diverse area, celebrated for its unique blend of suburban tranquility and rich multicultural communities. Councillor Saida worked for the NHS for many years and also dealt with survivors of domestic abuse. We all know in this room what domestic abuse is, and as a magistrate in Wimbledon, I dealt with so many cases, and these are not very easy decisions to make. So I congratulate you for all that work which you have done. She also worked in Feltham, mentoring prisoners. She was also a trustee member of Age UK for 5 years, a dedicated and passionate member, doing her best for older people in the UK. Thank you for that, Councillor Saida. In July 2024, Councillor Saida won the by-election for St Helier Ward in Mitcham and Morden, and she was well known to the community for all her hard work and re-elected again in this year's local election. She served in various communities during her first year as a councillor and as deputy mayor in 2025-26. She was an outstanding deputy mayor with excellent community skills and was well known to everyone, especially to the mayor's three charities, and she built a relationship with Merton and Morden Guild. She is loved by everyone. I have no doubt, no iota of doubt whatsoever, that Councillor Saida will be a great mayor with her extensive knowledge of community in the London Borough of Merton. I would also like to mention to you all tonight that I will be doing my usual sponsored swim at David Lloyd Leisure in Rains Park sometime in July, supporting her charities, as I have done for all mayors in this chamber since I was elected as a councillor in 1998. And I have no doubt that you will all be supporting me once the sponsorship details are set up. Finally, I look forward to seeing Councillor Saida at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday, the 6th of June at Westminster City Hall with the Lord Mayor of Westminster, HM Lord Lieutenant of Greater London, Sir Kenneth Olisa, OBE, for the Mayors Association induction and protocol day for all 32 London mayors. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any other nominations? Is that agreed? Councillor Saida will shortly leave the chamber to put on the mayor's robes. Before she does so, would anyone else like to speak to the nomination? Councillor Akinyi-Ina.
Thank you. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Deputy Lord Lieutenant again, Chief Executive, the Mayor, distinguished guests and councillors. I would like to concur with what my colleagues have said about Councillor Shuli Saida. I would like to say that I've met Councillor Saida long before she became a councillor. She used to go into the Labour Party office and help out, and also feed everybody there as well, because her son used to help out there. And I thought, this woman is a good woman. Once you start feeding people, I've been there myself, I know you've got your heart is in the right place. All I can say is that she's been a councillor for nearly 2 years. She went to the by-election and won. And she has been a delight to know. Hardworking, cheerful and generous. She was a deputy mayor, as you know, she's a deputy mayor for Martin, our mayor. And whatever she does it with great finesse. Smiling, being very committed. And one thing I like about her is that apart from being sociable, she's very respectful. To her, I'm called mum, even though I'm not her mum. But then she follows the traditions that we do. Anybody that's older than you, you give them the respect, and she follows that respect, which I find very, very endearing. With such great qualities that she has in supporting everyone and feeding everyone, that's the main thing, so that everybody get in line, because you might get some curry one of these days. So with all these qualities and her kindness and her gentleness, even though, as Councillor Kenny says, she can stand her own ground, I think she'll make a fantastic mayor. She's been really wonderful this year. She's very sociable, as I said, and she fits in anywhere because she wants to fit in anywhere, and that's what you need. So I'd like to support Councillor Shuli Saida. Congratulations, well done.
Councillor Holden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Conservative Group also wishes to congratulate Councillor Shuli Saida on becoming Mayor of Merton for the year 2026-27. We wish Councillor Saida every success in the year ahead and a successful fundraising for your charities. We look forward to supporting your events in this upcoming year.
Do we have any further speakers? Thank you. Councillor Saida will now leave the chamber to put on the mayor's robes. We will pause briefly until she returns. The live stream will continue whilst we do so. Can I invite the new mayor into the council chamber? Councillor Shuli Saida, I am pleased to tell you that you have been elected as the 62nd Mayor of the London Borough of Merton for the forthcoming year, and I'd like to wish you all the best for your mayoral year ahead. Congratulations.
Councillor Welton will now leave the chamber to be disrobed. The Mayor and the Chief Executive will now sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office, and the Mayor will receive their chain and her badge of office. I think I'm going to take this opportunity to say you can all be seated. The Mayor's attendant will now place the chain on the Mayor. The Mayor will now announce the Deputy Mayor for the forthcoming year.
I am pleased to appoint Councillor Henry as my deputy for the forthcoming year. Would you please come forward?
The Deputy Mayor and the Chief Executive will now sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office. The Deputy Mayor will now receive her badge of office. The Mayor will announce her consorts.
I am pleased to announce that my consorts will be Mr. Mohib Usman Ansari and Tajbid Ansari. Please come forward. Thank you.
The Mayor's consorts will be presented with the badge of office. The Deputy Mayor will announce her consorts.
I'm pleased to announce that my consort will be Mr. Stephen Moore.
The Deputy Mayor's consort will be presented with their badge of office. The Mayor will present the outgoing Mayor and consort with their badges. If the outgoing Mayor's consort, Veronica Welton, could come forward, please. The Mayor's Executive Assistant will present flowers to the outgoing Mayor's consort. The Mayor's Executive Assistant will present flowers to Councillor Saida, and we will then have a brief pause while photographs are taken of the Mayor and the outgoing Mayor and consort. Would you now all please stand as the Mayor and Deputy Mayor take their places on the dais?
Please be seated. Item 5, election of the leader of the council. Apologies. Okay. Sorry, I apologise for that. Teething problems already. Bear with. Right, okay. Dear guests, fellow councillors, colleagues, family and friends. Today marks a true historic and deeply personal moment for me. Sitting before you as a newly elected Mayor of Merton is an honour beyond words, and one that I accept with immense pride, gratitude and humility. To represent the borough that has shaped my identity, my values and my sense of community is something I will never take for granted. Being the first Muslim mayor in Merton's history is not simply a personal achievement, it reflects the diversity, openness and unity that define our borough. Merton has always been a place where people from different backgrounds, cultures and faiths come together with mutual respect and understanding. It is a borough where every voice matters and where our differences strengthen us rather than divide us. I hope my appointment sends a powerful message to every resident that in Merton, everyone belongs and everyone has the opportunity to serve and succeed. My story begins with my parents. My father arrived from Bangladesh, then known as East Pakistan, in the 1960s, and my mother later joined him from Bangladesh in the 1970s with my two elder sisters. Like so many immigrant families, they came here with hope, determination, and dreams of a better future for their children. I was born right here in Nelson Hospital and raised in Merton above the borough's very first Indian takeaway, the Curry Inn. So hence where the food comes from. Growing up, I spent many evenings helping in the family takeaway business. Those early experiences taught me the value of hard work, perseverance, and serving the community. Through dedication and sacrifice, my parents later expanded onto other business ventures, mainly in property, but no matter how successful they became, my father always reminded me to stay humble, stay kind, and never forget where I came from. Being my Baba's daughter, the daughter of Mr. Anvir Syed, remains one of my most proudest achievements in life. And today, I'm equally grateful for the unwavering love and support of my husband, Milan Ansari, and my son, Tajbid Ansari, who continue to give me strength every single day. In 2019, my life changed dramatically when I was diagnosed with a life-threatening blood disorder and admitted to intensive care. It was one of the most difficult periods for my family and I had ever faced. But through Allah's mercy, the dedication of our incredible NHS staff, and the support of loved ones, I was blessed with a second chance of life. Since then, I have viewed every day as a gift, and every opportunity to serve others as a blessing. I still have top-up chemo treatment approximately every 2 years. That experience gave me a renewed sense of purpose. It reminded me that life is precious and that service to others matters deeply. Today, I sit here in front of you not only as an individual, but a representative of every young person in our borough, who dares to dream. I want every child in Merton, regardless of their background, faith or circumstances, to know that their ambitions are valid, their voices matter, and their dreams are achievable. As your mayor, I promise to serve every resident of Merton with fairness, compassion, and dedication. I will listen to your concerns, advocate for our communities, and work tirelessly to ensure that Merton remains a borough where everyone feels valued, respected, and at home. My journey to this role has been both challenging and rewarding, and I certainly did not reach this position alone. There are far too many people to thank individually, or we will truly be here all night and you won't be happy. But I would like to acknowledge a few people whose support has meant so much to me. Firstly, Siobhan and Hannah for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to become a councillor in my home ward of St Helier. To Martin for not only being a role model mayor, but also like a younger brother who always looked out for me. To Ross and the entire leadership team, thank you for your guidance, patience, and for always answering my endless questions. To Carl Hirrell, thank you for supporting me and throughout my time as a deputy mayor and continuing to guide me on my new journey. Also must mention Kevin and Jenny, who are part of the team. And finally, to everyone across Merton Council, councillors, executives, directors, managers, officers, staff, volunteers, and residents, thank you for embracing me so warmly into the Merton family. I'm also proud to announce that my chosen mayoral charities will be Don's Local Action Group and Merton MenCap. These organisations represent the very best of our community spirit, compassion, inclusion, and service to others. I humbly encourage everyone, whenever possible, to support these wonderful charities through donations, volunteering, or simply helping to raise awareness of the incredible work they do. Together, let us continue building a thriving and inclusive Merton, a borough where opportunities are accessible to all, where our elderly residents are respected and cared for, where our young people are empowered to achieve their full potential, and where every resident has a voice in shaping our future. Thank you for placing your trust in me. I am honoured to serve as your mayor, and I look forward to working alongside all of you in the months ahead. Together, let us make Merton a shining example of what can be achieved when we stand united in diversity, compassion, and shared purpose. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Yep. Would Councillor Welton please join us on the dais? I would like to call on Councillor Garrard to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and welcome to your new position. I'd like to start by congratulating you on your appointment. Becoming the first Muslim Mayor of Merton is such an important milestone for our borough, and I know you will do a fantastic job in championing our area. And if that opening speech is anything to go by, we're in good hands. I also want to congratulate everyone who has been elected to this chamber, regardless of which party we belong to. We are all here because we want the best for our borough, and we will all work hard to serve our community well. And now, on behalf of the council, Merton Labour Group, and residents across Merton, I'd like to express my thanks to our brilliant outgoing mayor, Councillor Martin Welton. You've been somewhat of a trailblazer during your time as mayor, as only the second councillor in Merton's history to hold the mayoralty on 2 separate occasions, and being the youngest person to serve as mayor of Merton when you first held the role. As a councillor, you've served your community tirelessly for 24 years, and you've brought that same drive and dedication to your second term as mayor, undertaken over 400 engagements in every corner of Merton, and encourage us all to take pride in our brilliant borough. As someone who is no stranger to serving your community, it's no surprise that you took this opportunity as mayor to focus on celebrating the amazing contributions of Merton's many volunteers and community groups. The Merton Heroes Initiative, which you introduced to council meetings, has been a powerful vehicle for further embedding the values of civic pride and community service in this council and the wider community. Through these awards, you've recognised the exceptional service of over 30 individuals and community groups, shining a spotlight on some incredible contributions that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. These awards help bring local people together, inspire pride in our communities, and acted as a reminder to us all of how truly special Merton and its residents are. As mayor, you've taken every opportunity to celebrate the diversity of our borough, and under your chosen theme of bringing communities together, you've attended a number of faith and cultural festivals, citizenship ceremonies, and hosted an impressive range of charitable events. You also presided over the 80th anniversary of VJ Day, led the Remembrance Day parade in Cricket Green, ensuring our armed forces community felt seen, heard and welcome in Merton, and attended the annual St George's Day parade in Wimbledon. Your pride in our community shone through at every event, and I want to thank you for being such an exemplary ambassador for our borough. Over this past year, you've undertaken a monumental number of visits and charitable events, none of which would have been possible without the fantastic team of people working behind the scenes to facilitate each and every visit. So I'd like to put on record my thanks to Carl Brown, Hiral Patel, the Mayoral Committee and the entire Mayor's Office team for their outstanding work this year. I'd also like to say a special thanks to your consort, your mum, Veronica Welton, who has supported you at hundreds of civic engagements and events. And of course, our former Deputy Mayor, Shuli Saida, who has already proven herself as someone who takes pride in celebrating our community. Together, you've raised tens of thousands for the Mayor's chosen charities, Wimbledon Guild, Merton and Morden Guild, and the Commonside Community Development Trust. 3 local charities that carry out fantastic work to improve the lives of people living in Merton, which will all benefit greatly from these impressive fundraising efforts. You've achieved an incredible amount over your time as mayor, from your outstanding fundraising efforts to your unwavering commitment to the people of Merton. You are a true embodiment of what it means to be a community champion, and I think I speak for all members across this chamber when I say that you yourself have been a Merton hero. I move this vote of thanks.
This one. I would like to call on Councillor Wilson to second the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And can I first say congratulations on your election. It's always great to see your big smile in the chamber. So we want to, on behalf of the group, extend our thanks to Councillor Martin Welton for his past year serving as Mayor of Merton. It was moving to see how much it meant to you and your family when you were elected 12 months ago, a true sign of your commitment to your role 15 years on from your first turn in the ropes. You've almost rivaled the royal family with the number of engagements you've undertaken, and you've made a real difference for your chosen charities through the events you've organised, the Christmas dinner at Pavlik being a real highlight. Making time in the chamber to give recognition to residents who go above and beyond for their communities has felt particularly important during a time when some have sought to sow division across society. One team that always goes above and beyond is the team in the Mayor's office. So I also want to give thanks to Hiral, Jenny, Carl, Kevin and Dan for all their work over the past year. Thank you.
Councillor Holden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on your election. On behalf of the Conservative Group, I thank Councillor Martin Welton for his second term in office as Mayor Merton. And I don't know if anybody else has mentioned yet, but congratulations on your engagement. We were pleased to support your charities this year, especially the Wimbledon Guild, which is based in Hillside, my ward. And we enjoyed your mayoral events, in particular the mayoral ball at the All England Lawn Tennis Club, and the 2 quizzes that you hosted, thanks to Mick Daw of the Alexandra pub, also in Hillside. So thank you for hosting events in my area. We liked your new initiative, Merton Heroes. They're an excellent awards scheme, and it's a wonderful idea, which I hope the Councillor, Madam Mayor, Councillor Saida, can continue. It's a wonderful idea. I thank all the staff who supported you over the year, and thank you for your service.
Councillor Foley.
Thank you and congratulations, Madam Mayor, Deputy Lord Lieutenant. It's a great pleasure to rise and offer my thanks to the outgoing Mayor, second time, Councillor Martin Welton. And Councillor Holden has stolen my congratulations on his engagement as well. Over the past year, Martin has served the borough with real dedication and commitment. His mayoral year has been marked not only by his presence at countless community events, but by the energy and determination he has shown in raising funds for his chosen charities. That effort does not go unnoticed, and I know it will have made a meaningful difference to many. I was personally honoured to serve on his charity fundraising committee and to see firsthand the time, the care, the enthusiasm he brought to that work. It's been a privilege to support him in that role. I would also like to extend my thanks to the former Deputy Mayor, Councillor Shuli Saida. Over the past year, she has accompanied the Mayor on many engagements, offering her support and representing the borough with distinction. I am sure that experience has proved a strong foundation as she now takes on the role of Mayor of Merton, and I wish her every success in the year ahead. Councillor Welton, thank you for your service, your leadership and your commitment to the people in the London Borough of Merton. Thank you.
Does any other member wish to speak? Is the vote of thanks agreed? Councillor Welton, would you like to respond?
Lord Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, fellow councillors, officers, guests and friends, it is a privilege to stand before you one last time as the outgoing Mayor of Merton. For this council, tonight is a momentous occasion in electing our first ever Muslim Mayor in Councillor Shuli Saida in our 61-year history. Madam Mayor, savour the moment, savour the hour, as it's a great honour and a privilege, as I remember myself from twice becoming Mayor of Merton, and my warmest congratulations to you on your election. You have been the most tremendous support that any mayor could ask for throughout the past year, and been exemplary in undertaking the role as deputy. And I think we'll all agree that we've been a great team. I am so pleased that you will be our first citizen for the next year, especially given your work in the community over many years, but also your cheerfulness and determination to get things done, especially in organising our entry to the New Year's Day London Parade. I look forward to seeing the positive progress you will undoubtedly bring, and have full confidence you will serve our community with humility and integrity. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for everything. I would also like to take this opportunity of wishing my Pollards Hill ward colleague, Councillor Joan Henry, the best of luck in becoming Deputy Mayor. And thank you for all the support you have given to me when I have been Mayor over the past year, but also over the last 12 when we have served together as colleagues in Pollards Hill. 12 months ago in this chamber, you gave me the honour of serving as Mayor for a second time. To be trusted with this role once is special. To be trusted twice in Merton's 60th anniversary year is something I will never take for granted. When I became Mayor last May, I said I wanted my year to be about bringing communities together. Merton is a borough of contrasts. We have Mitcham, Wimbledon, Rains Park, Colliers Wood, Morden, and of course, Pollards Hill, which I've been proud to represent for the past 24 years and re-elected for another 4 years on May the 7th. Different histories, different challenges, but one community when it matters. But being Mayor is not representing one community, it's representing all communities, showing no favouritism to any part of the borough, as we are one community. We are Merton. Earlier today, I did my final citizenship ceremony. This is one of the most rewarding things I did as Mayor by presenting citizenship to many new citizens from different countries with different stories of how they made Merton home. Some arrived as students, some for work, some to be with family. What they share is that they choose Merton, and we should be proud of our diversity and let no one seek to divide us or to demonise culture or use the language of hatred. To reflect our communities, I chose 3 charities: Wimbledon Guild, Merton and Morden Guild, and Commonside Trust. Between them, they represent what Merton does best, looking after each other, especially when times are hard. I am delighted to report that together we raised over 50,000 for my chosen charities. That money will go directly to keeping lunch clubs open, activities for older people, funding counselling for young people, and supporting families facing crises. Thank you to everyone who attended my ball, came to my fundraising events, which included my quiz night last Sunday, or simply donated to my charities. You made that happen. Over the last year, I've undertaken hundreds of engagements, which has included schools, faith groups, award ceremonies, and community events across the borough. I've met many people who give their time without fuss and change lives because of it. One of the things I have been most proud of over the past year has been introducing Merton Heroes Award at council meetings. Over the past year, we have awarded over 30 Merton Hero Awards to individuals and community groups, and that was also marked at a special reception in the Mayor's Parlour. I hope this tradition continues, Madam Mayor, as it is right as a council we recognise service and contribution to the local community. I have also undertaken several receptions in the Mayor's Parlour over the past year, including Merton Rotary, Don's Local Action Group, and I'm delighted they will be a charity for the Mayor in the next year, and also the Ambassador of Ireland, who made a visit to Merton in March, and I would like to take this opportunity of thanking Councillor Max Austin for all his work in facilitating that visit. Now, the mayoralty is only a success due to several people, and I have many people to thank. To Dr. Robin McNeill Love, Deputy Lieutenant for Merton, for your service on behalf of the borough. You have been a great support since taking up the post last year, and I have been grateful for everything you do, especially in supporting civic events, including Armed Forces Day, VJ Day, Remembrance, and recently St George's Day, and also attending numerous other events in the borough, including the visit of the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, last July. Thank you also to your wife Poppy for being a great support. For Carl Brown, my attendant, chauffeur, photographer, along with the numerous other tasks that you perform with such commitment and dedication. Having been mayor before and deputy mayor previously, he certainly knew all my traits, good and bad. This year will be his 24th mayor, his first mayor being the fellow St Helier councillor, the late Maxie Martin, or 23 if you include my first stint. And it's probably fair to say he is the rock upon which the mayoralty is built. And I can tell you, he is more famous than the mayor itself. Thank you, Carl, for everything you do with such good humour and grace. To Hiral Patel, my executive assistant, thank you for all your work over the past year and all the support you have provided to me over that time in ensuring the mayoralty runs smoothly and tackling any challenges along the way. To Jenny for managing my diary over the past year. For Kevin and Dan for supporting the mayoralties and several events. To Amy Dimitrescu, the Member Services Manager, for all your work and your team in supporting the mayoralty. For Sharon Evans for giving me advice on procedural issues during council meetings. For the Chief Executive, Hannah Doody, thank you to you and all your officers for all their work. We have many fantastic officers in Merton who help ensure that this council is well run, acting with professionalism and integrity. My consort and mother, Veronica, for being there for me. I'm so lucky to have you in my life and forever grateful for everything you do for me. And to my father, Jim, for all you do and you continue to do in supporting me. Thank you, Mum and Dad. But there is someone who I owe the biggest thanks to, and that is my fiancée, Belle, who has supported me throughout in giving advice and support. Sadly, she's not able to be here tonight, but I know many of you have met her recently, and thank you for everything. Mahal Kita. I would also like to take this opportunity of thanking my charity fundraising committee for all the help and support you have given me throughout my mayoralty, and also my trustees for the Mayor of Merton's charities, Karen and Sarah. Finally, my thanks to all the councillors here. Chairing councillors is never the most memorable experience. Thankfully, this time it was not an evenly divided councillor like it was in 2009. And obviously I apologise to Councillor Lewis Lavender because I think we remember that night well, when it was a 30-all for the new mayor. But thankfully this year was a lot smoother. But thank you to all of you for your conduct throughout the year. Sometimes I may have been a bit tough, but I hope I have been fair. Can I also thank members from all parties for their kind remarks? I am deeply touched. To you councillors, welcome to Merton. Public service is something to be deeply valued regardless of party, and thank you for putting yourselves forward in what is an ever more challenging environment. We won't agree on everything, but all of us share common values to make this place better and to represent our communities. And if this year has shown me anything, it's that Merton has the people and community spirit to meet the challenges we face. And I would also like to give a special tribute to Councillor Linda Kirby and Councillor Peter McCabe, past mayors of this borough, for completing 40 years of service on this council. Congratulations and thank you. The role of mayor is ceremonial, but it reminds us of something important. Behind the debate in this chamber are real people in our wards who want us to work together. My hope is that the theme of bringing communities together stays with us, regardless of party. Thank you for the honour of serving as your 61st Mayor of the London Borough of Merton. It has been the privilege of my life. Stand forth in honour and strength. Thank you.
The Mayor will now present Councillor Welton with a framed copy of the citation. You may remain seated. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremonial part of the meeting, and the Council will now proceed with its formal business.
Item 5, election of the Leader of the Council. I call for nominations for the election of the Leader of the Council and invite Councillor Stringer to speak. Councillor Stringer.
Thank you, Deputy Lieutenant, Madam Mayor. 4 years ago, I rose in this chamber to propose Councillor Garrett as leader then, and it's with absolute delight that I'm back here to propose him now. And I say that as it is because of Councillor Ross Garrett's vision and leadership that I'm here, back again in my third time, not only having been re-elected in my home ward against the odds and against the predictions, but finally, in my third time, elected in a wholly Labour represented ward with my colleague Sebastian Budner. So, Madam Mayor, I have a lot personally to thank Councillor Garrett for, but more importantly, the hundreds of thousands of Merton residents right across the borough are also deeply grateful to him for the improvements that they've experienced over his first term at the helm. And 2 weeks ago, we saw just how much they appreciate this when they voted for a strong Labour team, in fact, an increased Labour majority in our wonderful borough. Madam Mayor, Councillor Garrett was born and raised here in Merton. He is in touch with our community. He knows exactly what it is that matters most to our residents. He knows that it's the commitments to the things that we see and experience every day. This is encapsulated in the promises he has made to residents to keep Merton clean, to make Merton affordable, to keep Merton safe, and to make Merton greener. But he also knows that running a successful council is about more than this. Well, firstly, to deliver on your promises, you need the leadership skills to make sure it happens. He has these, from his clear vision and communication to his strong but professional relationships with council officers. You also need to work in partnership, and he has developed really strong, respectful partnerships with councillors of all stripes and the many external partners from the police, charities, businesses, community groups, and many more. But secondly, Madam Mayor, you have to do all of this while not taking your eye off the ball of the services that thankfully most of our residents do not see. The vital work to support children at risk, to house homeless families, to safeguard vulnerable adults. Ross is a caring leader, deeply invested in ensuring that our support for people going through crisis is the best that it can be. And finally, he is committed to doing all of this whilst balancing our budget, not just in the short, but also the medium and long term. Because, Madam Mayor, Councillor Garrett loves this borough, and he knows that there's no point in making easy decisions now that will make life harder for our residents in the future. Madam Mayor, I'm lucky to call Councillor Garrett a friend as well as a boss, and we're all lucky to have him looking after Merton. And I and hopefully future Cabinet colleagues are delighted to be working with him to put residents first, and it is my great honour to propose him as leader. Thank you.
This is being seconded by Councillor Alan Brittas. Councillor Alan Brittas.
Deputy Lieutenant,
Madam Mayor, and congratulations to you on your new position. And it gives me great pleasure to second this nomination for Councillor Ross Garrett, even though he is an Aston Villa fan. Now, for 10 years I was, you might all think, oh no, here he goes. But I'm not referring to that. I am not referring to that at all. For 10 years, between 1985 and 1995, I was a fully qualified Football Association referee. Now, Madam Mayor, I'm not a big fan of VAR because we do not need VAR tonight to confirm our belief in Ross Garrett as a worthy leader of this council. We do not need VAR to ask us to go to the pitch side monitor to see if Ross has made all the right calls in the last 4 years, because he has, to sell Chas, to freeze the council tax, to make us the borough sport, and to ensure civic pride in everything we do. Madam Mayor, we do not need a VAR on-field review of our promises to the residents who say they like keeping council tax lower than any neighbouring Lib Dem council, introducing new bulky free waste collection service, providing job and training advice to every young person, and increasing the number of safer street officers, and upgrading playgrounds and sporting facilities. Finally, on VAR, Madam Mayor, we do not need goal line technology to get Ross over the line, because we can do that tonight with our 32 votes. Now, let me finish with a flourish of the red card. There it is. Let us show the red card to the politics of division and wave through with advantage the hard work, a listening approach, and a business-like manner in this council. I second the nomination for Councillor Ross Garrett to be leader of this council. Thank you.
I have the following listed to speak. Councillor Rice.
Deputy Lord Lieutenant, thank you, Madam Mayor. Congratulations on your appointment, and I'd like to offer our congratulations to the party opposite, particularly on receiving roughly the same number of seats at a time when there's a significant decline in confidence in the Labour Party being capable of running anything. A similar number of seats, though there was quite a large reduction in the number of votes, wasn't there? You just received your lowest share in Merton for 20 years. So it was a mere 31%. So I make it that 100 take away 31, 69% of Merton's voters actually didn't want Labour to run the council. Interesting. They're just numbers. They're just numbers. Overall, you lost a whopping 12,000 votes, and the Liberal Democrats gained over 11,000 votes. So, given this disappointing performance, my guess is that you'll need to reflect on this feedback from Merton residents. Indeed, leading Labour politicians in Westminster are saying things need to change. It's clearly the same here in Merton. And we'd like to help you with that. Here's what residents are telling us needs to change. 1, please engage and consult with us, they're saying. Don't just do the statutory minimum. By the way, there's hundreds of notices out on lampposts that are all out of date, so I doubt anybody reads any of them anyway. Number 2, please be more open, transparent and honest. No more frozen council tax messages when the truth was council tax is going up 2.5%. Residents saw through that one. And no more claims of weekly street cleaning when that's manifestly not happening and street cleaners are making their own choices. Number 3, please stick to your promises. You promised affordable homes. You promised specifically 400 council homes by 2026. How many did we get? 0. Yo, bit late. Please, the final plea from residents, please have some humility. You don't have to always vote against good ideas and then propose the same ideas yourselves a year or 2 later. Our residents want better and more efficient services now, not later. Anyway, well done again. With our help offering feedback and ideas as well as challenging scrutiny, we hope, but more importantly, residents hope there'll be positive change and that Merton will indeed become as we said in our manifesto, a great place to call home. So in light of all this, I would like to call on VAR. I'd like to propose a vote on the appointment of leader. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Wilson.
Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, thank you. Can I also extend my congratulations to colleagues on the other side? And I want to thank all of officers for their efforts in running another smooth election and embracing an overnight count in such good spirits. And finally, thank the residents of Rains Park for electing me and my ward colleagues once again. We are grateful for every vote. I wanted just to talk about Councillor Rice's point on reflection. And I say this fully acknowledging it's a process that all groups should be doing, perhaps aside from our independent colleagues behind me who fully achieve their aims. I hope there's an understanding among those across the chamber that the result doesn't mean that no change is needed and they can continue as before. I will highlight two areas of change that I hope the administration is already reflecting on. The first is resident engagement. I see a new citizens panel has been announced. I hope this will involve genuine engagement, giving residents with experience of using the services a meaningful opportunity to input into service design rather than a tick box exercise. And that, unlike the discussions and decisions made on the Legacy Fund, they don't happen behind closed doors. More than ever, we should be seeking to build trust in local government. Using council tax bills for political messaging, I would wager, is not the best way of doing that, and holding meetings on public projects in private erodes this trust. Transparency must be the starting point. The second is whether the administration thinks it's maximising engagements with councillors, making use of their knowledge and local connections on the ground. We have, after all, been elected by residents to represent our areas, but too often over the past 4 years, we would be the last to know. An example in my own ward was when I found out through the local paper that the leader had been visiting Clarion residents. Although a welcome focus on the issues many residents face in Clarion properties, it's a shame they didn't think to reach out to us in advance to find out about the mould experienced in one resident's flat and the overcrowding in another. It would have made the visit more productive, actually getting things fixed rather than just a photo opportunity. During the recent peer review, I was also struck when asked about meetings with the leader, how one new councillor said they met with him and had regular one-to-ones, something that's never featured in opposition councillor calendars. It suggests a lack of curiosity about the issues residents are raising in our wards and a desire to fix them. But I will finish again with extending my congratulations, but also to make a commitment to you that we will continue to amplify the voices of our residents and their calls for you to do better. You have 4 years to show you're listening and that you're prepared to change course. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
There are no further speakers. Councillor Stringer, do you wish to use your right to reply?
I only need to say that we made our propositions, myself and Councillor Brutus, based on the vote that actually happened with real residents voting a couple of weeks ago, and that message doesn't seem to have got across to some of our opposition. But look, we will look forward to, with Councillor Garrett at our helm, working in the best interest of Merton residents. Thank you.
I now call for a vote. Is that agreed? I declare Councillor Ross Garrod to be the duly elected leader of the council. Item 6, vote of thanks to former councillors. The report is being moved by Councillor Garrod.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I think I'll teach the opposition a lesson in how to be humble after the election. I'm pleased to propose this vote of thanks to former councillors of the London Borough of Merton. Returning members will remember that I spoke about our Labour colleagues who are retiring from this chamber in our last meeting. But I just want to take the opportunity again to say thank you to all those who have served our wonderful borough. Dennis Pearce, Mike Brunt, Lakshmi Attawa, the late Marcy Skeet, Thomas Barlow, Billy Christie, Andrew Howard, Paul Kohler, Aidan Mundy, Jennifer Gould, Natasha Irons, Sherry Ann Bim, Caroline Charles, Eleanor Cox, Kirsten Galea, Susie Hicks, John Oliver, Michael Patterson, James Williscroft, and Helena Dollimore. I'd also like to pay tribute to Nick McLean as the former leader of the Conservative group. He was a ferocious opponent in this chamber, but also a hard-working councillor in Cannon Hill ward and served his residents diligently. On behalf of the people of Merton, I'd like to thank former councillors for all their hard work. It's an incredible act of courage to stand for election and demonstrates a commitment to public service and our community that we should all value and celebrate. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The report is being seconded by Councillor Stringer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We all know that it is an absolute honour to be here, a huge privilege to serve as a councillor. But we need to be honest, it's also hard work. It takes up more time and headspace than anyone other than the councillor could possibly understand. You have to make sacrifices, you have to be selfless. So, Madam Mayor, to choose to put yourself forward to stand is a huge and brave decision. And standing down is similarly a very tough choice. And as we all know, sometimes it isn't a choice made by the individual councillor. So because being a councillor is often a thankless job, Madam Mayor, I'm proud to have this opportunity to say a huge thank you to those who have served in the previous council term and are no longer members of this esteemed chamber. You can see the list and Councillor Garrett's read it out, and while I would love to say something about each of them individually, I won't do that. But each and every one of them, from whatever party, made a difference to their community and played an active role here in this chamber. But personally, I would like to give some particular thanks. So firstly to my fellow former Wimbledon Labour councillor and former leader and former mayor, Mike Brunt. I'd also like to highlight the leadership shown by Nick McLean over his 2 terms leading the Conservative group, because while we didn't always see eye to eye politically, he was always respectful, and I found him able to set aside political differences to work on together for the greater good on some specific community projects. And Madam Mayor, I'd also like to place on record my best wishes to my former ward colleague, Kirsten Galea, who worked hard for Wandle residents. We should all also congratulate those who left our chamber to join the green benches in the Palace of Westminster, Paul Kohler, Natasha Irons and Helena Dollimore. Madam Mayor, I would like us to all send our particular best wishes to those who stood down for health reasons. And it is with great sadness that today we've already had to give thanks to Marcy Skeet and remember the services she paid for her sad death. And I echo the sentiments from Councillor McCauley and Councillor Garrett and others about Marcy earlier. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I have the following listed to speak. Councillor Holden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On behalf of the Conservative group, I too endorse the vote of thanks to the outgoing councillors, and I thank them all for their many years of public service. From the Conservatives, I thank Thomas Barlow and Andrew Howard, who served in Village Ward for 8 years. Andrew diligently attended many civic and ceremonial events throughout that time, and Thomas served very diligently on the Planning Committee and other committees he was on. I thank Ellie Cox for her 4 years in Lower Morden and for being so kind in driving Councillor Austin and I to this place for full council meetings. We're going to need a new taxi driver. I pay special tribute and thanks to Michael Patterson and Nick McLean in Cannon Hill Ward, who served for 4 and 8 years respectively. We are deeply saddened to see the loss of Nick, who served as a Conservative leader for 7 years, and he is a big loss to this council. Nick delivered many things for Cannon Hill residents, such as the bund on Cannon Hill Common, improving the lake, planting trees and daffodils, and regeneration aspects on parts of Martin Way. And he supported all the years, all the civic and ceremonial events across Merton. He leaves a legacy of action and achievement and will be deeply missed by those who liked him in this place. From the Labour group, I would just mention a couple of those who I interacted with the most. Lakshmi Attawa in the scrutiny. She was chair of SUSCOMS and I was vice chair that year. And Mike Brunt, who in hindsight I was a bit harsh to during the Veolia bins rollout debacle many years ago, but subsequently I got on well with him very much, and I even nominated him to be a member of the Village Club. Thank you to all those who have served.
Councillor Bakari.
Mashallah, Madam Mayor, congratulations. My best wishes to all our former councillors. I think it's clear just how much we all cherish this role, and I believe everyone in this chamber knows what an honour it is to be a locally elected representative for their local area. I'm pleased to be speaking a little bit about my friends, John Oliver and Kirsten Galea. They will be very, very, very missed in this chamber and this council group. However, I know that they will continue to be the local champions that we know them to be. Kirsten will continue to do the litter picks, the river cleanups and all the other activities that she loves doing in her beloved ward of Wandle. She's not going anywhere, and she will continue to be a campaigner on the issues that are close to her heart, like Palestine. She was at the march this weekend with other thousands of people wanting the end of the genocide and to uphold international human rights. And her advocacy on disability rights in her job and in her life, she will always push for inclusive homes and design, inclusive transport and inclusive work. And she will be the Lib Dem activist by our side, campaigning with us, supporting us, and our friend always. Now, John, well, what can I say? Mera bhai, as we say in Urdu. He is a lover of Pakistani culture, a frequent visitor to the country, a learner, learning to speak the language, immersing himself in the culture, even fasting during Ramadan. And he's one of the kindest, most caring men I know. And it was an absolute pleasure to work with him by our side in West Barnes. And gosh, didn't West Barnes love him? In fact, even the Tory Facebook page, Love West Barnes, loves John Oliver. They thanked him for the work that he did, specifically for the Friends of Sir Joseph Hood Memorial Playing Fields. And to be honest, I don't blame them for loving John, because he is so good at engaging and making sure that everyone felt heard. He organised a fantastic resident meeting for all residents to discuss the gas holder development, and a real example of local engagement. So even though John may not be at our side at the street surgery anymore, but he will continue to be just as active when it comes to supporting refugees, young people, and also making sure that we are all well aware of any budget gaps at Merton Council. We'll be hearing from him. So yes, we are sad that John and Kirsten are not going to be here in this chamber, but they're still very much part of our family, because that's what we are on this side, a very happy, united family.
Yay.
Councillor Hall.
Madam Mayor, Deputy Lord Lieutenant, guests and esteemed councillors, I'd like also to recognise those councillors from other parties who've vacated their seats in this chamber, many for reasons beyond their control, whether ill health or simply the outcome of democracy. Some gave decades of service to Merton, and they were all here hoping to do what they thought was best for residents, as indeed we all are. On this side of the chamber, we're saying goodbye to some colossal local champions. Susie Hicks was known across Hillside and Merton for her hard work and deep engagement with her residents. Representing a split ward is never straightforward, and it's testament to Susie's fantastic reputation that Hillside residents have put their trust in a Liberal Democrat successor, Councillor Golby, to keep the good work going. With her legal background, Susie was a details person who could cut through waffle and get straight to the heart of an issue. Her contributions in this chamber were always precise, thoughtful, and grounded, both in head and heart. She belied the outdated, but sometimes accurate image that people used to have of Liberal Democrats, scruffy, bearded, sandal wearing. Susie was the opposite of that, always elegantly presented and beautifully dressed. She was also a joy to be with. She had a heart of pure gold. She'll be much missed by our group. We also say farewell to another councillor with a legal background, Paul Kohler, who stepped down to focus on his role as Wimbledon's first Liberal Democrat MP. Many here will recall his many ardent and convincing speeches to council. Convincing, though, of course, nothing could be convincing enough to get those opposite to vote with us. You know, that's c'est la vie. His achievement in saving Wimbledon Police Station must not be forgotten. It's a shame that the Labour Mayor has now closed the front counters of both our borough's police stations, but we would have lost the whole station without Paul. So his commitment without his intervention. Finally, it'd be remiss of me not to mention Jennifer Gould, who left us in January. Her commitment to Merton and the environment was without equal. So with great sadness, we say goodbye to a great bunch of Liberal Democrat councillors, and we wish them all the best for the future, as well as all the other councillors who've not come back to the chamber this time. So thank you.
Councillor Foley.
Thank you. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Madam Mayor, I would also like to recognise and thank those former councillors who have served the London Borough of Merton with dedication and commitment over the years. Public service at a local level is never easy. It requires time, resilience, and a genuine desire to make a difference to the lives of residents. Each former member, in their own way, has contributed to shaping our borough and supporting our communities. And for that, we owe them our sincere gratitude. We may come from different political parties, and we may at times take different approaches, but what unites us all is the shared commitment to serving our residents. It is not the goal that differs, but the way we achieve it. That common purpose is something that should always be recognised and respected. Now, the leader has already mentioned all the councillors, a huge list, but I think tonight I'd just like to say a special thank you to former councillor Mike Brunt, who is here. He's already had a mention this evening. He was serving as Mayor of Merton when my wife passed away. He was round there with Carl very quickly afterwards, and the support he gave me, I won't forget. He's turned out to be a good friend, and he's an AFC Wimbledon supporter. Also, someone else I would like to acknowledge, and that is Nick McLean, the former leader of the Conservative group. We didn't always agree, but we made up quite often over a beer. Leading a political group carries significant responsibility, and Nick did so with commitment and a clear sense of purpose. His contribution to the council and to local democracy in Merton is highly appreciated. He also came round when my late wife passed away, and I would say a bit more than a councillor, but a good bloke. Though members may move on from this chamber, their legacy remains. In the decisions taken, the communities supported, and the difference made to our borough. On behalf of us all, thank you to our former councillors for your service to Merton. It is recognised and it is valued. Thank you.
I have no further speakers. Councillor Garrett, do you wish to use your right to reply?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Court agreed. That is agreed. Thank you. We are now on to item 7, minutes of the budget meeting held on the 25th, 2026. Are the minutes of the last council meeting agreed as a correct record? Thank you. Item 8. We will now deal with the constitution of committees and other bodies report. I call upon the leader of the council to present this report. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm deeply honoured to have been chosen to continue serving the community, which has always been my home. The people of Merton have spoken, and they want Labour to keep running their council. They want Labour to stand up for this wonderful borough, and they want Labour to deliver on our promises to make Merton cleaner, greener, safer and more affordable. And I'm delighted we'll be able to deliver on those promises, not only having won the election, but increasing our majority too, winning new seats in Lower Morden and Wandle against the odds. Madam Mayor, I'm proud to be putting forward a cabinet to deliver on those promises, which is energised, ambitious and laser focused on doing more of what residents want. Councillor Stringer will be continuing as Deputy Leader and will lead on our work to secure even more Green Flag Awards, create more pocket parks, upgrade children's playgrounds and establish new woodlands across Merton. Councillor Alan Brittis is our Cabinet Member for Finance, working hard to keep bills hundreds of pounds lower than our neighbouring Lib Dem boroughs and managing the finances well so we can afford to keep doing more for our residents. As our Cabinet Member for Cleaner Streets and Transport, Councillor Neveson will lead on our work to introduce free bulky waste collections and continue our popular pop-up tips and graffiti removal services. Councillor Coessa will continue to lead our children's services and make sure we continue to deliver outstanding care and support which gives our children the very best start in life. Councillor Macaulay will expand our Safer Streets team and CCTV network and work with the police to bring a new police base to the borough, helping keep Merton as one of the safest boroughs in London. Councillor Judge will continue his excellent work to build and secure new council homes for the people of Merton and advance our ambitious plans to regenerate Morden Town Centre. Councillor Kenny will not only be supporting our schools to stay at 100% good or outstanding, but she'll be expanding Employ Merton to get every resident and young person the support and training they need to succeed. Councillor McCabe will continue as Cabinet Member for Health and Social Care, keeping our care services running at their best and making sure that everyone is getting the right support when they need it. And finally, Councillor Cooper Marbia will be leading the way on upgrading sports facilities across the borough to give young people and adults more to enjoy in their spare time and continue delivering on our ambition to be London's borough of sport. This is a team with ideas, passion and experience, and they will be supported by a fantastic larger Labour group and the excellent officer team we have here at Merton. Across the panels and committees in this report, we also show the diversity and wealth of knowledge and experience we benefit from in this new cohort of councillors, and I look forward to working with them to make Merton an even better place to live and work. And to the people of Merton, I promise that in working to deliver on our promises to you, we will do so hand in hand with the community to make sure change is the right change and that progress benefits the whole borough so nobody is left behind. We are deeply humbled by the trust the people of Merton have put in Labour once again, and we will work hard every day over the next 4 years to repay it. Lots done, more to do. Let's get to work.
This is being formally seconded by Councillor Rodriguez. Councillor Rodriguez.
Thank you. Can I add my congratulations? I formally second.
We have an amendment to the report. Councillor Willis, please move your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Deputy. Congratulations. We thought we may be hallucinating at the end of a long night when the council leader said at the count that he looks forward to being scrutinised in the next term. This is because the last 4 years with its changes to the constitution provided anything but. I therefore expected to see chairs of scrutiny panels allocated to opposition groups. Maybe I was hallucinating because I now see from this paper that once again Merton Labour prefer to mark their own homework. We've seen an email this week about a new residents panel, local people whose views will shape decisions. Sounds a bit like councillors, but of course anything we propose is voted down, so we must go further than another consultation. This amendment establishes new neighbourhood committees to devolve power across the borough. It was no coincidence that only Labour politicians voted for the plans to expand ALTC, but then the council comms described it as a committee made up of all parties. At Audit Committee, we proposed that council debate petitions once they hit 1,000 signatures. Labour voted this down, so we bring it back here. The fact is, they want to involve the public when it suits them. Even on the legacy fund, we still have no idea as councillors who the members of the group are. It's only £15 million of public money. The reason we propose reviewing the allocation of motions in this amendment is currently the Merton Park Independents, while trusted to chair scrutiny, are only allowed one council motion a year. The reason we suggest increasing speaking times, well, look at the Tories. While we absolutely respect the rights of those living in village to elect 3 Conservative councillors again, did they know that their group is now limited to 2 minutes in a debate? Therefore, the case for opposition chairs with scrutiny could not be clearer. One of my first task groups was EV charging. We proposed in this task group trials of gullies, and this was adopted by Cabinet. A more robust SUSCOM's chair would have held the administration to account. Instead, we've had no trials, and Merton Labour even turned down 71 grand from central government to do them because they know best. Councillor Alan Brittas was, of course, a model of humility this evening in his speech about your larger Labour group. I'm sure he's humbled by the 26% drop in the Labour vote in Ravensbury. This should no longer be business as usual. It can't be. No, Deputy Leader, we are looking at the result on the ground in proposing this amendment. An electorate that removes the Labour leader in 2022 and the Conservative leader in 2026 is not a happy electorate. While we are not in control of the council, we are pleased to control the narrative. The free bulky waste collections we suggested in July 2024 became your election pledge. We suggested in September that tougher rules on HMOs be rolled out across the borough. Labour voted against it. It was happening by March. Maybe if planning committee hadn't been cancelled so much, we could have talked about these things there. Instead, I'm about to meet my 4th chair. But it's not all bad. We will continue to propose things and they will continue to end up happening after the charade of Merton Labour saying that they're a bad idea. Labour confusion isn't new, of course. We saw leaflets accusing us of wanting to put up parking charges. For the record, it was us who called in their decision on increased fees. We saw a complacent Labour in Mitcham saying, don't risk what you've got. Well, what they've got is a static rate of 4 in 10 children in Mitcham and Morden living in relative poverty, not properly scrutinised by CYP and compounded by a new £1.7 million cut in services for vulnerable children. Even on council tax, texts went out on election day saying not voting Labour would cost people more. Look, you can change the comms, but you can't change the facts. Since 2022, council tax has gone up by 20%, and Labour voted for that every single time. If politics is about choices, then make the right one and back this amendment, which I duly propose.
The amendment is being seconded by Councillor Fairclough.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and my congratulations to you. I second this amendment because at its heart, this is about something simple. Whether we genuinely believe that democracy works best when more voices are heard, or instead when power is concentrated in fewer hands. Effective leadership and proper scrutiny are not opposites, they're partners. Good scrutiny makes councils stronger and decisions better. Poorer scrutiny leads to things like the financial collapse of Croydon. Overview and scrutiny is not meant to be an extension of a cabinet machine. It exists to support challenge, to examine, and to sometimes say, hang on a minute, have we got this right? For those new members, it's worth highlighting that across local government, it's common practice for scrutiny chairs to be allocated amongst opposition groups, or across all parties fairly, precisely because independence matters. If scrutiny is to command confidence, it cannot simply look independent, it must be independent. It's not right that the administration councillors treat scrutiny panel chairs as a training ground for cabinet, nor is it right for the administration to decide which opposition councillor is acceptable to them as chair of overview and scrutiny. In both cases, the conflict, Madam Mayor, is clear. And frankly, residents watching the council would reasonably ask, if scrutiny is worthwhile, why would any administration be uncomfortable with a stronger democratic challenge? This amendment reflects established democratic practice. Our second recommendation goes further because democracy should never stand still. People feel disconnected from politics. They feel decisions happen somewhere far away from their streets, their neighbourhoods, their daily lives. On the 7th of May, I was contacted by an advocacy group about a resident at risk of homelessness. They'd struggled repeatedly to get support by phone or email before eventually having to attend in person at the Civic Centre. I don't raise this to criticise those working under enormous pressure. I raise it because accountability and the ability to push for change based on real experience is key. And that's why neighbourhood committees, better participation and stronger scrutiny matters. Local democracy belongs to residents, not just whoever currently holds power. And I particularly want to speak about the rights of our smaller political groups, the Conservatives and any independent councillors. Every councillor here was elected by residents who deserve representation. Their voices are no less valuable because they voted differently. Democracy does not become weaker when more people are heard, it becomes stronger. And that's why the proposals on speaking rights and motions matter so much. Every group should have the opportunity to bring forward motions at council meetings. Because if we only hear from the largest groups, then we are not hearing from the borough in full. And there's a wider point here too. We all speak warmly about democracy, accountability, transparency and listening to residents. Thank you, Councillor Alan Brees. And this recommendation gives the administration the opportunity to act in a principled and practical way. The administration should also reflect on the fact that its borough-wide vote share this year was its lowest since 1982. In our view, part of its response to that should be to devolve power, to strengthen scrutiny, to broaden participation. And as Jess Phillips wrote in her resignation letter, decency is vital. It's also needed, but so too are fight and drive required. Have a row, push back, make arguments and bring people along. So I urge members across this chamber to support this amendment, not because it benefits one party or another, but because democracy depends on challenge, on argument, and on people being willing to stand up and be counted. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I have the following listed to speak. Councillor Mercer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations in the role. All the best for the year ahead. This chamber gives us the opportunity to consider issues of relevance to residents, discuss them and hopefully work towards solutions for challenges faced by those residents. We have considerable sympathy with the proposals of the Liberal Democrats related to petitions triggering debates and related to speeches and the raising of motions. Our scrutiny panels give the administration the opportunity to benefit from the considerable expertise and experience amongst the members. And as independents, we value the chance to contribute in this way. We can see the attraction of formalising the process of selection of chairs for scrutiny panels. However, is this really the best way to address these issues in this meeting? We feel that this would best be approached in a non-partisan way, and we hope we can encourage discussion along those lines. Accordingly, we shall be abstaining in the vote on this amendment.
Councillor Holden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I must say it is rather surprising that the Liberal Democrats are attempting to bring this amendment at such a late hour during the course of this meeting, with no prior engagement with other groups and therefore giving other groups no chance to consider it at their AGMs or recent meetings or discuss with colleagues. After all, Madam Mayor, it must have become clear to the Liberal Democrats over the last few weeks that they still do not have a majority in this chamber and therefore need to work with other parties on matters such as these. Therefore, if we are to scrutinise their actions regarding this amendment, then it is clear that this has been put forward as a political stunt and for future Liberal Democrat leaflet to distract attention away from their poor performance at the recent election. And whilst there are some points that are worthy of further discussion, it must be clear to all in this chamber that it's not been brought forward in a serious manner and therefore we cannot engage with it. Over the last 8 years, it has become normal practice for amendments to be seen and discussed before meetings. So let's take this away, discuss a plan, and then when we're happy with it, like Councillor Mercer mentioned, bring back a motion that we could all support at a later date.
There are no further speakers. Councillor Gerard, do you wish to use your right of reply?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to draw colleagues' attentions to the amended Appendix A and B, where there are a change of dates, I believe, to 2 meetings. But I also want to say that there is a strange smell in this chamber of, I think it's called bitterness. That's been displayed by the other side. I thought there'd be a bit of soul searching, but instead they're using this false narrative to paper over the cracks of their horrendous campaign. We heard at the last meeting, member after member on that side, they could smell success. They were taking the council. Ed Davey had to turn his car around from the count when he found out that Labour were retaining this council. And what I would say on the substance, what I would say, you can keep singing that merry tune, but it ain't changing. Labour were elected to win. Labour won this council, and we will continue as this administration. And we've gone through the substance in previous years around the constitutional working group, around the proportionality based on the election and who is elected by the residents, around the number of questions, around the motions, around the speakers. And you can actually give up your motions to the smaller groups if you actually care about what you preach, but you don't. And actually, the constitutional working group is the right place for this, not a last-minute amendment that was hashed together by the losers at the election. So have some humility and have some respect for the people of Merton who elected this Labour administration to serve another 4 years.
I call for a vote on the amendment first. Please raise your hands for. Against? Not voting. For 19, against 31, not voting 6. The amendment is lost. Now I turn to the substantive report. Can I see a show of hands for? Against? Not voting? For 36, against 19, not voting 1. The report is agreed. We now move on to our final item, item number 9, calendar of meetings 2026-27. I call upon Councillor Garrett to present this report. Councillor Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I won't give a speech because I think everybody's now ready for the reception.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Stringer.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I formally second this report.
There are no further speakers. I now call for a vote. Is that agreed? That concludes the meeting of Annual Council. Thank you for your attendance. I'll see you shortly for the reception.